5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 100th episode of Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. So Truth, Beer, and Podsequences is the podcast where my co-hosts and I listen to all the Cincinnati-based craft beer podcasts from the previous week. We get together at a podcast host and we give our version of the truth of how those podcasts went. Now, hopefully there aren't too many consequences from the hosts of the other podcasts. And as they are expected to trickle in, I guess we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Today we are at March 1st Brewing.
We are in the voltage room.
We are in the voltage room for our 100th podcast episode. That other voice you heard belongs to the best co-host in Podcastlandia. And I, by the way, am Marco. I'm a taproom manager here locally. Now, the best co-host in Podcastlandia, you may say hello.
Hello. Oh, did you want me to do more? Oh, okay, more than.
Please do more.
It's almost like we've never done this before. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
What?
We have already hit a couple of speed bumps. I'm Julia. I'm just going to go ahead. We're already off the rails. This is amazing. Episode 100. What could be better than it being off the rails within the first minute 30 of it? I'm Julia. I'm not a taproom manager here in the Cincinnati area.
Not
Instead,
yet.
I just show up to the tap rooms in the Cincinnati area, and I drink all the beer, and I talk about all the beer, and I sing the praises of the Higher Gravity Beer Event calendar year in and year out. I write funny things about it during beer event. We're going to have background noise today.
Got a new guy over here.
I'm telling you. I'll tell you what.
What?
This is going to be one hell of a fun episode. But before we get into a little bit more about the episode, a little bit of a disclaimer. All the thoughts, opinions, things that are said on this show by myself, by Marco, by anyone on Truth, Beer, and Podsequences, they are our own thoughts and opinions. They do not represent any of the entities that we are a part of, such as full-time jobs, March 1st, that type of thing. So
Right.
come at us, don't come at them if we say something
We'll have to give you a
disagree
new
with.
Twitter handle to send all that stuff to.
Yeah, there was a change there, but we'll tell you about that at the end of the show if we
end of the
remember,
podcast.
because so far we're not starting off strong. With us today to start, as other people start trickling in, we have, in addition to amazing beers in our glasses, we have one first-time guest and one not first-time guest. So first-time guests always introduce themselves. So I'm going to kick it over to you, first-time guest. Who are you and what are you drinking?
I am Elijah. I am a drinker of all of the craft beers in Cincinnati, especially the sour ones. Urban
you
Artifact.
make some too.
I'm a home brewer.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking the Hefeweizen from March 1st.
Excellent.
It is very clovey.
Good. So more heavy on the clove than the banana?
Yeah, so
Nice.
cooler fermentation.
Nice. Excellent. And you are a repeat guest, so I'm going to introduce you. Josh, Dibba Josh, my favorite Josh.
Hello.
Is with us again. And what are you drinking?
I'm drinking High Point IPA from March 1st.
Excellent.
I've had that.
I've had.
I may have it today. I don't know.
There
We'll
you go.
see.
We'll find out.
100th episode.
I might have another.
You're allowed to.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Getting spicy here. I'm drinking Vespa, the Italian Pils. Great beer. Marco, how about you?
Craft lager for me.
All right.
And we have viewers. We have guests.
Tell us about the Marco.
We got my wife Rachel's here. Vincent's here. You're probably going to hear him in the background. And we have Bill from Arizona.
Hi, Bill from Arizona.
Who's actually from the Cincinnati area, but
So he's not
and
from
then lived
Arizona.
in many other parts of the country. But we've got Bill here too.
Awesome. Well, since this is a podcast about podcasts, we have 5 different shows to talk about. Kind of hope that we would have had a couple of the other podcasters here for us to get started, but
Fuck them. Well, they're not here.
Starting off strong.
It's not,
So
they
you
all
know
had
what?
the invite. They knew
This-
what time we started.
It's true. So they cannot justify anything that we say that they said in our recaps.
A few of them did reach out and talk to us about things like finishing work or traffic or
Bullshit. Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You know what? I took off half day from work to be here on time.
As you should.
So why didn't
the
they?
rest of
Why
everyone
didn't they?
should.
And I just want to say, I know that Gnome has just been sitting down at Braxton doing nothing but drinking Big Sis all day.
I know.
So
He
no
put
excuse.
it out there.
No excuse.
Maybe that's why he hasn't driven.
No, this is true. If that's the case, I appreciate and respect that. That's fine. But we're still going to just throw pretend shit at him for, hey, you knew when you were supposed to be here and you're not
He
here.
did know.
He could call an Uber.
I guess. I'm sure that's super cheap to go from
right.
to go from
Braxton to March 1st,
to March 1st and then to Hamilton where he lives.
That's
and then
only
all
about-
the way back. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
$75 an Uber fee.
That's what his Patreon money's for, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's what we. I say we like I send him money.
That's what the Nomies pay for. We pay for his Ubers, which whatever works.
Gnome-sized Ubers cost more.
Oh yeah, that's
I thought
true.
they were smaller.
Yeah,
Well,
they
yeah,
got to
but
travel
they're-
farther, though.
Right,
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
They don't
Because the
drive
wheels
as
are smaller?
fast. Yeah, yeah.
It's like trying to make a case so that like short people can't run faster than taller people because their legs are shorter.
But they just move the legs faster.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but
just less
look
efficient.
at Ellie Cruz run.
Oh, this is true.
Hey,
Dude,
I'm
he
not
takes,
the
like,
only one at this
he takes
table
2
who has
steps and he's
experienced
on
tall
pace.
people lapping it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you
Oh man!
look into
All
my
right.
childhood?
Well,
What the
let's.
hell?
So I'm gonna go over the 5 different shows that we're gonna talk about today, and we'll see who's listened to what, and then what. We have the Bruce Travelers Outcast podcast. I listened, Marco.
Fable Brewworks.
Fable Brewworks.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did.
Elijah.
Did not listen to that one.
Okay.
All right.
Josh.
You can make it up.
I've been to Fable.
All
I
right,
can relate.
close enough. Close enough. We have the Craft Parenting Podcast, episode 107. They did this one live on YouTube, and then it was published out to the podcatchers.
Yeah.
All right, Elijah.
Missed that one.
Okay, Josh.
Yeah, same boat.
This is going to be great. We are going to be so accurate with all this. We actually have an episode of a podcast that there's no excuse for these people. That's all I'm going to say.
Tell you what, there's also no excuse for some of them not walking across the brewery to come in here.
We saw the car out front.
They're here.
They're here.
Some of them are here, and they haven't walked over here.
Who are we talking about, Marco?
Butt and Brian, at least.
Well, I was saying the podcast. Shift Beers.
Shift Beers.
They finally put out an episode. It's been about 37 years, 87 years, actually, if my math is correct. So I know.
87.
Yep. Elijah, did you happen to check this one out?
Nope.
Awesome, Josh.
Why start now?
I know, exactly.
They shifted to some content. There you go.
Oh, that's going to be fun. We we have a new episode of the Brew Skies Happy Hour. Marco?
Yeah, I listened to that one.
Elijah?
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right. 3 out of 4. Josh?
No. I'm just hanging out. I'm just hanging out.
I love it. It's going to be great. And then we have last night's episode of The Weekly Pint.
I was on there.
You're
I
on there?
was
I was on there at the tail
Look at-
end.
Excellent. So we have all of us for that one. So we'll do that one last because it's the one that the most people know about. Or, well,
It also
have
came out last.
True.
Or gnome about.
Or, ooh.
Hey.
Look at this is going to be so much
I
fun.
love a good wordplay.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
going to be so much fun. All right, well, we may have people coming in and out as we do this, so let's just jump right in with the Bruce Travelers Outcast podcast, episode 25 at Fabled Brew Works in Erlanger, Kentucky. Marco, you have not been there yet.
Nope.
Elijah, have you
No.
made the trip? Okay. It's phenomenal.
It's
I
not on my
absolutely
list.
love the place. the
Now I'm
beer,
waiting
so
for
that'll
my
be great.
cloak to come in.
Oh, so
before I
you can
head
show up
over.
in full wizard regalia?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Got to up your charisma.
This is true.
That's my life, buddy.
So...
What can
So
I
the
say?
Brews Travelers that made this trip were Quick Trip, the Brews Traveler. They had a special guest show up near the end that we're not going to say who that was,
No.
but you'll probably be able to figure it out as we go through this. And then they always have someone from the brewery on the podcast, and that was Brad Riles, who is their meatist, their meater.
He's the
How do you
meatist.
say- what is someone who brews meat or who makes meat? Is there-
Meatist.
just
I
a-
feel like a meatist sounds weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if
I don't know.
if there's an official.
The mead maker.
Yeah.
I mean, Meadery is a place that
A meaterizer.
Right, a meterizer. That's what we're going to go with.
A meterizer.
And then,
That's
again,
my
the
truth,
surprise
at
guest.
least. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Mark, do you want to break down what the Outcast podcast kind of typical format is before we dive into some of the touch points on this?
Sure, Julia. Glad you asked. So, Outcast podcast usually they're going to pick a place. They're going to tell you where they're at. They're going to tell you a little bit about what they've done recently, brews travel wise. They're going to give you a little bit of an impression about the size of the brewery. They're going to get into rapid fire questions with typically someone from the brewery. They're going to tell you how many breweries are within a 5-mile radius of the brewery.
And that's an as the crow flies radius,
the crow
not
flies.
an actual driving
Yes.
radius, yes.
And then they're going to get into, as they tell you what they're drinking throughout the whole podcast, then they get into rating beers. They use the Untapped rating system, so the bottle cap rating. Mm-hmm. And then they award their MVBs, most valuable beers. I think that's about everything. That's pretty close.
Yeah. I love that in the beginning, they gave us full credit for how quickly they turned out this episode.
They did.
It was within, 2 weeks?
It was
They went down there?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say within a month. We'll give them like a month window.
They were like, we're going to get this out quickly.
And it's like 3 months later, and it's like, so they just released this beer, and it's awesome. It was for their 17th anniversary, and you're like, that was in December, and it's July. So you just ruined my potential experience by going to this brewery, because the beer you said was there that I wanted to try is no longer there, which kind of, my bad for not going there when I heard about it, but...
Nice hat.
We have John Lee walking
John
in.
Lee
As we said, people are going to be kind of popping in and out, which is going to be phenomenal. So this was probably the fastest turnaround of an Outcast podcast episode to date. Looking forward to the next one being released the day after they go to the brewery, which will be fantastic.
Yeah, just drop those right there, John. Thank you.
It's cool. It's all good. It's all good. Super awesome.
That's some good Foley going on.
It is. It is. This was their first Kentucky Brews Traveler episode, which surprised me. I was sure that they had done one from, another one of the Kentucky breweries, but I guess thinking back, they haven't.
No, they even mentioned that. So the Brews Traveler was saying that he had done an episode of Hustle and Brews with Darkness.
Right.
But they haven't done an Outcast podcast
from there, which was really
or
surprising.
anywhere else in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Other than Fable.
They have finally crossed the river, so maybe now we'll see more.
Yeah.
They got their passport stamp.
They do.
That's right.
Yeah, they're officially allowed to cross the river now.
That's right.
They had to kind of find their way through. They talked about the aesthetic of the Fabled Brew Works tap room. They said it was one of the most unique tap rooms that they've been to in quite a while, which I would have to agree with.
Did you want to talk about that a bit, since we went down and checked it out as well?
Yeah, it's beautiful. They have clouds on the ceiling, and some of the clouds of lightning that kind of goes through them. Really, really cool. They have the kind of old shack village-looking buildings where you go to the bathroom. You walk in. It looks like you're walking into like someone's cottage house. I mean, I don't know. Help me out, Josh. You were there.
Yeah, it looked like a cottage house. When you open up the bathroom door, there's a hay roof above it. It's really cool.
Hey, roof!
Yeah.
Like you're calling the roof.
Thatched roof cottages.
The wallpaper in the bathroom is, this sounds weird, but it's probably one of my favorite parts because of how incredibly well it was done. It's all pages from fairy tales, just that they put one by one on the wall and just shellacked or, Mod Podge or whatever they used to get it up there.
Cool.
It's absolutely amazing. And they have a building in the tap room that was taken out of Mariemont. They just pulled the facade off of the front from Mariemont because they were doing some renovations in that part of town, drove it down to Erlanger and just stuck it on the wall. It fits perfectly. And if you've ever been to Mariemont and then you go to Fable Brew Works, you cannot say that I'm wrong.
Yeah. Like you're in Mariemont.
Yeah, absolutely.
With gnomes.
Hobbits.
If you're into nerd culture or anything fantasy or whatever,
Just something different
it's
from
a really
the typical
cool place.
industrial aesthetic of a
the
brewery.
aesthetic is great. The beer names are great. The descriptions of the beers are great. Just the general vibe is cool. They're striving to have like food trucks down there all the time, and it's a breath of fresh air, basically.
Do I have to roll persuasion to order my beer at the bar?
No, but you do have to
could
roll
s-
initiative.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
You could probably swing them if you wanted to if you wanted to role play that. They could probably swing
Oh
them.
God, they would have a blast with
There
that.
you go,
I feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like they would have an absolute blast with that.
This
So to the Brews Traveler, I'll try to circle this back around to the podcast recap. To the Brews Traveler, I appreciate your pronunciation of Berliner Weiss.
Yeah.
You did great.
Good job, sir.
I'm so proud of you. It was completely incorrect, but I'm so proud of you for throwing that softball my way so that I had something to
We were mentioned
give a
throughout
shit
that
about.
podcast.
Mostly that was like the pod sequence. Like they keep saying we don't release these episodes soon enough. They keep saying we mispronounce things. We take full credit for it, but we also know that means we're going to get even more shit from them the next time that
They might even show up. Who knows?
they're supposed to. But it's 6, and we're not seeing anyone. So you know what? As you said, Marco, fuck them.
There we go.
All right, what else did we have? They had some absolutely amazing marketing ideas for how to get their beer and the concept of the brewery out. They said to promote the brewery in the CVG airport because it's literally 5 minutes away. And then they also talked about promoting the brewery at the convention center because of all like the anime cons and comic cons and all that. Brilliant ideas. That would be the absolute perfect place, 2 places really, to keep sharing word about Fabled Brew Works. And it was about that time, during the rapid fires, that these special guests showed up who joined them purely for the beer review segment. He walked in just to give his own ratings on Fabled Brew Works beers, and he actually rated the beers. This is a guest that normally says, I will check in beers, I will talk about beers, but I will not rate beers. Until today.
That's right.
So that is a reason in and of itself that you should listen to this episode. Were they able to pick an MVB? There was a lot of discussion about that. Mm-hmm. A lot of the beers are fantastic. Their surprise guest, to kind of give you another maybe hint at who that might be, he might be a mead guy. He's not a seltzer guy. He's not a milkshake IPA guy, but he might be a mead guy.
Mead guy.
A mead guy. Let's see, what else was there that I had on this? A bunch of heresy happened. The Brews Traveler wants to put Fabled Brewworks beers on ice.
Yeah.
What?
There
How dare they?
There was.
Is all I'm saying.
Okay. I'm not going to name any names.
Okay.
I was at this place on Sunday. I was doing a job. Mm-hmm. Person asked for a beer. Yeah, absolutely. And then they said, "Can I get a cup of ice?" I was, yeah, you can have a cup of ice. And they looked at me like, "Don't be mad." I'm like, "What? What?"
They didn't.
He goes, I put the beer over ice. I'm like, "Look,
What?
I'm not going to tell anybody.
You just
Like,
did.
you just keep that to
You
yourself.
just told our
You just
tens of listeners.
There are literally dozens of us.
Literally, at least 8 dozen.
Hey,
Maybe.
maybe it's an innovation that hasn't been explored yet.
This
right?
is true.
Yeah.
People
could
put
be.
seltzers over ice.
milk."
Sure.
It's all wrong.
It could be that the person doesn't like beer and they're exploring.
So you
a new
water
way.
it down more?
Yes, it could be a way that somebody's trying something that they
Sure.
might not
Some
enjoy
ice.
otherwise. If you
Sure.
were like, I don't like IPAs, but like maybe if I had like a quote unquote light IPA, maybe I could enjoy that, right?
It's called a session IPA.
Yes.
There you go.
But
Oh, it's all making sense.
Maybe one of their
Did you session IPA by putting it over ice?
Take a double IPA,
Well-
add ice to it,
And
now
then you
it's a
just have
session
an
IPA.
IPA.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe
Sure,
They were great.
As heinous as that sounds.
I'm like, look, you want
maybe-
2? Do you want 2 cups of ice? I mean, do you?
Yeah.
As heinous as a beer over ice sounds, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's something. Maybe they're exploring
So,
a beer that they might not
I'm
enjoy,
not beyond that. Look, I mean,
or
think
maybe
of
they
it-
just like really cold drinks.
Well, think about a scenario. Okay, so you went and you're camping. You have a cabin. You go to the grocery store. Grocery store is 45 minutes away. You've got your beer in the car. You get back to the cabin. Maybe you do put your beer over ice because it's warm.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I have done it. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying I could see. Hey, look, maybe.
Here's
maybe
the
that's
reality,
fine.
though: if you drink it quick enough, that ice doesn't melt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Very
It cools
true.
your beverage.
I'm not going to
and-
judge that person to their face.
No.
Correct.
No.
We
no,
do
no,
it
no,
behind
no.
the scenes on a
That's right.
podcast that
On
they
a
might listen to
podcast.
later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would personally much rather have a watered down beer than a warm beer, like a warm beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like room temperature.
If the deciding factor was a lager over ice versus a hot lager,
Hot lager, it's a new innovation.
Lager
That's it.
over ice.
What about
a new-
fire poked lager?
Yes.
I'm gonna go
Yes.
lager over ice and just drink it quickly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I'll order
Okay.
my next one that way.
All right, let's all do that. Our next
I'll
beers are
hold
all going to
you
be
to
over
that.
ice. All
Let's go
right.
right now.
All right. Well, I only have one more note, and then we're done with this section.
Okay,
so
let's
then
go.
we can go ahead and take a break because some of us need additional
Ice.
more beers and ice, lots of ice.
Ice, baby.
Ooh, do. Let's see if I can remember to add a sound clip to
Maybe
that. The
like
last-
a beer over flavored ice is the future. Maybe that's the new adjunct.
We've done
Kinda
that
like doing
already.
your own-
Seltzer ice.
We've done
beer
that
over
already.
seltzer ice.
They were a sponsor.
blocks.
Yeah.
You kind of have blocks already, yeah.
Blocks was a sponsor.
Shout out
Yeah.
Blocks.
Shout out blocks. We love you
That was
guys.
the segue into
Blocks.
Yeah.
Into blocks.
All right,
Yeah.
the last note, I'm going to try to rein in the cats somehow. The last note that I had on this episode on the Brews Travelers Outcast podcast, episode 25, Fabled Brew Works in Erlanger, Kentucky. Keep an eye out for Viking Night and the mini Renaissance Fair happening in their parking lot.
Yeah. And
Yes.
mead mugs.
And mean mugs with ice. Lots
Yeah.
of ice.
Wooden mead mugs.
listeners, make it down to Fable.
Yes.
Fabled Brewworks is really cool.
Yes.
Their tap menu is very diverse. Julia and I went down. I had a very good Mexican lager, a very good Mexican lager with lime. They had two different versions. I think the one that I enjoyed most is no longer on tap, unfortunately. It was
I'm
called,
sure,
drank it
I'm
all.
sure it'll be back.
it was called
yeah.
Chupacabra. I had a
Chupacabra.
Yeah, their IPA.
hazy IPA. Was it a hazy?
Did a couple, yeah. Yep, did a
Yeah,
couple.
I would like to see Fabled do a different IPA, maybe like a West Coasty,
A
hoppy
clear
something.
IPA.
Clear IPA.
Yes.
But Fabled does. Would we have? We had it like a orange creamsicle.
Oh, the
sour or something.
No, it was milkshake IPA.
milkshake IPA, orange
That was
creamsicle
really good.
milkshake IPA. Not
Yeah.
bad.
Perfect for Marco.
Get down there. Exactly.
Thanks, Elijah.
Love you, buddy.
All right. Let's take a quick break before we get into the next podcast. And we'll be right back. Not only have we made it back.
Back.
But Joe and Caroline just made it, and just in time for us to talk about their episode. So, Joe and Caroline,
Hey, we're
thank you
here.
so much for being here
Thank
Hey,
you for
thank
for
you.
our
having
100th
us.
episode.
I still don't know exactly why you invited us with the way that we have treated you in the past, but more power to y'all.
I guess it's because Podsequences is just part of the risk that we take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was only fair for us to invite you guys.
Hey, Joe, it's time for you to pull something out from under the table now.
Oh, whoa,
Hey.
whoa,
So we have
whoa.
something for you.
No, not
Not
touching
gonna-
it. Not touching it. Not touching
No
it.
more ice.
No more ice.
It is not an ice, I promise.
Glass is involved,
That's-
though, but it is not.
That's what somebody would say if there
it
was an
wasn't-
ice.
But we do
don't-
need video. So
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Producer
Oh, no.
Josh wants to.
Yeah, producer
video.
Josh.
Okay, all right.
Fuck.
I know. I'm terrified. I know they keep saying it's not an ice, but that's like you said, Marco. That's exactly what someone would say
Right.
about someone giving someone else an ice. And you guys have burned us multiple times.
So who wants to open it first?
You're handing it to Marco. So
We got
we'll-
the bag. Beautiful.
twinkle, twinkle, little star. We're
That's
stars,
right.
Marco.
Oh, I meant to put an
We're
S on that, so it'd be stars.
All right.
It's
So the people listening can enjoy the ASMR of the paper rustling
the,
and
the top two things that are sticking out, you can just pull those out.
These things right
Yeah.
yeah, just fling them into the air or give them to John
John?
Lee. Thank you, producer John. We appreciate
All right, this
you so
one
much.
says Julia.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you
okay,
wrapped
it's-
them too.
I did wrap them.
Oh, it's flat. It's not an ice.
it is.
not
I
an
told you it was not an ice.
Dude, can you blame us for being a little apprehensive? That's
No.
all I'm asking.
And I debated weighting the bag or putting like some homebrew bottles in it to make
to
you
make
think
it
that you
seem
were
like
getting ice.
because you guys are evil.
Not an ice.
You guys are.
They are pictures of us being iced.
Oh, I bet that's it. I
Dude,
bet that's it.
that
All
would be
right.
funny.
Well, you guys didn't have to get us anything, but
So it's a picture for you.
it is Joe's tiny hand
Look at that.
framed. Holy crap! Look at this! Look at this! This is ridiculous. Oh my God. This
One of
is
those
so
aliens
awesome.
that landed in Las Vegas put his hand out.
So, Joe, I'm going to need you to hold your hand up for size reference. It is not a lie.
Oh my
other
God.
hand.
This is
I got your
hilarious. I
other
love
hand.
this. So, did you notice on the
I got
back?
the left hand.
No, so I had to flip them.
yeah.
So you
Okay.
have the right hand and Julia has the
I got
left.
you.
Oh, that's
So we
why I
have-
did.
Oh my God, I love this.
Yeah.
And on the back, Joe Ludwig, left hand, original artwork, framed cardstock, 1 of 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have
And
Oh my
these
God.
are exclusive.
to Marco.
This is-
Congratulations on 100 episodes.
I signed it too.
Yeah.
We have signed,
Signed.
framed original artwork from the Michael Jackson of German dancing.
That's right.
Oh my
Michael
God,
Jackson
guys,
of
this is
German
so
dancing.
awesome. Thank you.
You're
Thank you, thank
welcome.
you,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
I mean, you talk about my hands a lot, and I'm
I
not,
really do.
and
Probably more than we should. It's probably getting a little awkward by now,
it's
but
a
you know
little
what?
awkward, but
You guys listen to Shift Beers. It's not that awkward compared to what they talk about.
Very true. Very true. Well,
so
Joe
to
and
each their own.
Joe and Caroline, since you guys are guests on the show, we already introduced you. So, and again, you're not first time guests, but what do you guys have in your glasses? What are you drinking?
I'm drinking the. What am I drinking? It's like the Swiss
chocolate,
Swiss,
something
chocolate,
like that.
Swiss chocolate.
That's a
yeah.
good one.
Yeah, and I'm
It's one of
drinking
my favorites here at Mark.
the wheat that is not the Hefeweizen.
Okay.
That's
okay.
all I remember.
So, Joe, did you get a shot of peppermint schnapps in yours? Make it a sleigh bomb?
No.
Oh.
No one offered me that.
Oh.
Wow.
Come on, tap room manager.
I mean,
Upselling.
technically, it's not his tap room here, so he wouldn't have.
No, but Jimmy's been nice. He turned on the AC. I
He
can
did.
feel it
I can
already.
feel it.
Oh, there's
It's
there's
getting
this
nice.
weird guy talking to
Oh, for
himself.
crying out loud!
Oh no. You just give anybody a camera and they can just do whatever they want, I guess.
I'm telling you. Here, we're all gonna. This is gonna be a great part of the podcast. to edit out.
He's so
Yeah, that's a good audio.
He's like,
This
"What
is
are you
great
doing?"
audio. This is fantastic.
Hey. Welcome, stranger.
See, he's not even talking to us. He just keeps talking to himself.
Talking to the
Incredibly
camera.
rude.
This is that whole
Future.
podcast time
Future.
travel thing.
Ah,
I don't
the
understand
future.
podcast time. I'll never understand podcast time.
So for you guys, reminiscing over your 100 episodes, podcast time is not as much of a thing. You release an episode every week. It's about what went on roughly in the last week. Whereas Joe and myself, we have to come up with topics.
This is true.
And then
Yeah.
sometimes we record them out of order.
But this is
and
episode
so then I
100,
never
so we can
know.
be syndicated now. So
This is true.
So this might not
That is true.
happen weekend.
I heard
weekend.
that on a podcast once.
There's this really awesome podcast that also had 100 episodes.
Oh my
So
god!
I think we were introducing me. I'm Joe.
Yes.
This is Caroline. We do the Craft Parenting Podcast, and we are two Cincinnati craft beer lovers with a parenting problem. We
Yep.
talk
Yes.
about our family adventures, our life as parents, and of course craft beer,
Yes.
which is your niche of what you talk about.
Yep. When you guys put out an episode that is beer specific, beer heavy, we tell people complete untruths about the whole thing, and it's wonderful.
And
it's fantastic.
especially about my hands, which
Especially about your
you-
hands.
you cannot-
Yes.
so every time you say that, you will think about this
The big red hand is just going to be.
framed.
Oh my
picture
God,
of my
that's
hand.
fantastic. So we are going to talk about your episode 107, Friday Night Live, which was, I believe, the first one that you streamed live on YouTube,
It is.
which I didn't get a notification on, so sorry that I wasn't on watching
Well,
live.
did you
But it-
smash the like button and ring the notification bell?
I thought I had, but maybe I hadn't, so I'll have to double check that. But if it's a Friday night, if it's after like 8 o'clock, I'm already in bed, so I mean...
Well, and that's so. Unlike some other podcasters that talk about beer in the Cincinnati area, we can't really schedule live shows
True.
because if
not-
we did schedule live
neither-
shows, they would be way off.
Well, neither can
as
the...
opposed to how far off they currently are
I was
when
just
they
gonna,
do get
I was
scheduled.
just going to say the other Cincinnati craft beer podcaster that you're talking about that says they schedule live shows.
I didn't
hit or
get a
miss.
notification for the last one,
Hit
but
or miss.
also our kids were not going to bed, so
They like to do that.
yeah, they like to do that now.
Or they like to not
They'll-
do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about episode. Let's see if you guys remember your episode
That
107.
was what is that? 2 Fridays ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
Which
yeah.
this could be fun. We could say anything, and they'll have to remember
I'd agree with
if
you.
it's what they talked about or not. This one was drinking beers that came from the infamous West Virginia trip that Marco you took with a couple other Cincinnati
Yeah.
with a couple other Cincinnati craft beer podcasters. Greenbrier Valley Brewing,
Yeah.
which
Rip.
yeah, Caroline found out some incredibly sad news about it when she was like, "Oh, let's look up stuff on this brewery to tell people about."
I
Oh,
was
they're closed.
excited to learn more stuff, and then there was nothing
And
to
there was
learn.
nothing to learn. Right.
Apparently, they closed their doors in March,
Yeah, so it hasn't even been that long.
but
Okay.
but their statement was kind of wishy-washy in that they were kind of, I guess, looking.
They want to open
come
back up. We'll see if that
But
happens.
it's iffy. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the odds of us ever visiting them are very slim, so I don't know if we'll have a follow-up of, oh, hey, look, they opened their doors again.
Their beer was good.
Yeah, the beer was
How
good.
did this beer end up in our beer fridge?
Yeah.
So there
Maybe
was
you
this
know-
thing
maybe you
called
know
a
something.
100th episode that I don't remember much of at all, if I'm being perfectly honest. No, it was just beer that Marco and Gnome and the Bruce Traveler and Quick Trip. Was just, am I missing anyone from that? It's been so long. It's been forever. I think it was just,
I don't know. I tried to block it out of my mind.
fair enough. You did almost die multiple times.
Yeah.
Rolling into
We're glad you're still here.
We are
Thank
very
you.
glad that you're still here.
Thank you.
Apparently, one of the reps or someone who worked there gave them
Oh, that's awesome.
cases and cases of the beer. And so Marco's like,
Yep.
Julia, get this shit out of my house. You take it. I'm like, this is really good, but it's too much. I can't drink all of it. So then we blessed you guys with
It was
what
good
I had
beer.
left over. Yeah, I enjoyed what I had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed it when I opened it up, too. So it wasn't like, oh, hey, here's some crummy beer. But it was, I think part of it, to me, was, hey, I bought a case of this beer, and I am kind of done drinking this beer and would
Right,
like to drink
right.
new things. So here you go. Here's new to you beer.
Right. I think I had like 2 6-packs of each of the different styles. And I'm just like,
Yeah, I
I
remember.
haven't gone back to it in a while. So
I remember
wanted
you
to pay it
walking
forward.
into our house with like
a case,
a
and you're like,
pallet
why?
of beer.
You're like, no, we're trying to clear out the beer fridge. This is not helping. They're going
What
back
does
to
not clear out the beer fridge?
It's true.
It just
Our beer fridge needed to be rotated.
rotates.
it rotates. Yes. I wouldn't know. I don't have a beer fridge.
What? What?
We have a button for that.
I know we don't have a button for that yet because we like to do our what's live,
Yeah, live.
Okay.
live
What's-
and in person.
Live
It's more
what's.
fun that way.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So,
In this-
to tell me what we talked about.
You talked about lawn care a lot, and Marco and I think you need to just pay someone to do your lawn care for you. It's what all the cool kids are doing.
I mean, we need to get it in the budget.
Oh man, we have.
Oh,
producer
gosh.
Josh.
Oh, thank you, Josh.
Josh is bringing Joe and Caroline their food.
You are the bomb.com. People still say that, right?
You did.
You do. So therefore it is
Yeah,
definitely
we're
still a
people.
thing.
We're people.
Yeah.
Apparently,
people.
Joe doesn't understand Matt Damaris's podcasts. That was another
Yeah.
little piece of conversation.
The Hustlers Brew.
Yes,
Yeah.
Hustlers Brew or the Hustle and Brews Hustlers Brews spin-off podcast
With the hustles.
with the hustles,
And the brews.
definitely the brews. We cannot forget the brews. But yeah, you just weren't familiar with it at all. You're like, I don't understand this. I don't know how the words go together. It was a very confusing time for you trying to discuss these when you were talking about he was the one that kind of put together this trip that caused these beers to get back to you guys. Mm-hmm.
And I bet he gave you some. just because.
Probably.
I mean,
he gave us timber.
Big Timber
Big
Brewing.
Timber, yeah.
Yeah, he gave us a 6-pack
Oh, the
from
Big
Big
Timber?
Timber.
Okay.
Oh, so
like
not,
a mixed 6-pack.
not Greenbrier then.
No.
That was all me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He was very much into hyping up Big Timber when he gave us these beers, and
They're
they
a
were
great
good
brewery.
beers too.
Yeah.
I probably liked them the most out of that trip.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Stumptown, I think is what it was. I liked that brewery too, but Big Timber was the one I liked the most, for sure.
Nice. Let's see, what else?
The way I remember it, I don't know.
What else did you guys talk about in this episode? You gave historical accounts of getting lost in Red River Gorge,
Yes.
which, I mean, if you've ever been down there, you've gotten lost on a trail. It's part of your initiation
Quick
into
Trip
the
just
gorge.
came back from there, I think.
He's down there all the time, though, but I bet his first 1 or 2 trips, he got lost.
Probably.
And still made it back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, well,
Right.
it
that's
helps
what he does.
when you don't read the 2 lines after the line that you're following in the directions. So it's like when you're baking a cake and you're like, I'm just going to read everything line by line.
You kind of read a couple lines ahead sometimes so that you know what the flow is.
Yeah, so our guide was not doing that, hence we got lost. But we found ourselves again. We didn't
good.
kill anybody on the trip, and that's always the big thing.
I feel like I did that the other day with some food I put in the oven for the family. Like I quick read the oven directions and I put it in. I'm like, the last time I did this, I think I cut a slit in the top of it, and then I pull the thing out of the recycling like 10 minutes later. I'm like, I'm supposed to put a slit in the top of it.
Yep.
Like, how did I skip that?
That's part of cooking anything in the oven is you have to pull like the instructions out of the garbage at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it's not cooking if you don't do that. Otherwise, it's
No.
just preparing prepackaged things.
True.
Yeah.
Cooking is the real art.
It really is, yes. You guys talked about the glassware that you were using, talked about aliens, and other random memories like watching the Star War. Just singular. Just
The Star Wars.
Just a single Star War.
Just one.
It's like Lego. There's the plural is just it.
We have an announcement that we need to make from producer John.
Oh, yeah.
He would like us to announce that milkshake IPAs are bad.
Yeah,
Is this
from producer John.
Yep.
this
you,
your
producer
opinion,
John.
or is this?
It's fact.
This should be the fact for the whole world.
It's pure fact.
It's from John Lee. Find him on Instagram at.
Send all complaints to @RagingHop on Twitter.
Oh.
R.I.P.
Or is it?
Oh, we
Yep.
have breaking news on that front. I feel
Yeah. If they were here,
like. Yeah, where
They
are
could
they?
tell.
Like, I mean,
somewhere in the freaking building, I don't know.
I think they left.
Probably.
I
They're
think
like,
they
we
left.
don't want any part of this.
They got
Which I
scared.
can't blame them. Can't blame
I got
them.
invited to the garage bar and then never told where it was.
It's in the garage.
Hey,
How can you not know this? It's in the garage.
I've got sources. I can find that out for you, and you can just randomly show up.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let's see what else. I actually only had one other note on this.
Good, because this is running for long.
It really is. I mean, we've taken some breaks and all that, but we
Yeah,
have
we
3
kinda
other
derailed
things
you,
to
Yeah.
do this. Yes. Caroline is getting into all kinds of illegal things.
Look, those
And if
plates
you-
are just the right size for
Joe's tiny hands.
It's perfect.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. So Caroline's getting into some illegal things. And if you want to know about those illegal things and how to contact her about those illegal things, check out the Craft Parenting Pod everywhere. What
And
else?
if you are involved in law enforcement in any way, don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
FBI.
We know
We're-
you're
we're-
listening.
we're talking
it's
to you.
fine. It's fine.
All the AI bots and the Twitch bots.
Everyone's scrubbing every word that we're saying
What's
to
a
try to
Twitch
figure
bot?
out. Mm-hmm.
Well, apparently
Where
the Twitch
people go to
bots.
and
you know
twerk.
how
Said
unexpected twerking
unexpected twerking.
may cause uncontrollable twerking in baggage area. Did you not listen to last week's episode of Truth, Beer, and Consequences?
I told you. I'm 2
shit.
weeks behind
Hey.
on all my podcasts
I don't want to hear it then.
because I can't listen to it around the kids, and I can only listen to podcasts right now that I can listen to around the kids.
You only say curse words a couple times.
A few, like,
But
They're
those
gonna
are the
toughen
ones
up.
the kids pick up on.
not wrong.
At
Not
least,
wrong.
well, we haven't gotten to cover that episode yet, but there is a podcast where they are allowing their kids to curse.
Yeah, we're actually going to talk about that one next. So let's take a quick break so that Joe and Caroline can eat, so that we can kind of say hi to people
Oh,
as
no.
they've come in and out. I don't even know what's happening here.
I know exactly what it is. I'm just wondering the reasoning behind it.
Okay.
There is.
I feel
no
like I'm
reason.
back in middle school.
Is there anything that you guys want to tell people about the Craft Parenting Podcast? Either the blog, how to follow you guys, the show, because you're are you starting to do all of your shows as YouTube videos as well?
No,
Or-
just
okay.
every once in a while.
Okay.
The blog is more just show notes.
Okay.
We keep talking about resurrecting it into like an actual blog, and that hasn't
Yeah.
happened yet.
All right.
You can find
Yeah,
us.
we do have a website.
Yeah, you can find us at
Tell us.
Craft Parenting Podcast on most social media platforms. And it's craftparentingpodcast.com is the website. And I am at Caroline Creates Crafts on Instagram if you're interested in crafty things.
Like
Is that
crochet
where
stuff.
people go
Yeah.
to get long
illegal-
quotes as well?
The illegal stuff and the long quotes. Caroline
Yeah,
creates
long
crafts.
quotes.
Yeah.
Or if you need
Scrunchies.
someone to erect your pergola.
Gazebo. It was a gazebo.
A
I helped
gazebo.
build a
Same,
gazebo.
Yeah.
same difference.
Yeah.
And Joe, where can people find you?
I'm at Craft Parenting Joe on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. I say quick break. It's never quick.
It's going to be like an hour. There's like 20 people here.
But it is a break. We'll be right back, and we're going to talk about shift beers with or without them, so stick around. Well, we are back. And we're going to talk about...
We're back.
Thank you to the Peanut Gallery. Oh, my God. It's all kinds of amazing. Absolutely love this. We're going to talk about shift beers, and we have a repeating guest who doesn't have a beer in his glass. Oh. Marco, do we kick him off the podcast for this?
I mean, this guy.
I'm telling you. Since he's not a first-time guest, he has to talk. He has to,
That's fine.
no.
He'll be all right.
Do we want to make him introduce himself, or do you want to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
It's John Lee.
Our first guest
Our
ever.
first guest ever.
Yes. He has made it
Welcome to
back.
Back.
There is nothing better than what's happening right now. I don't. And because we have no idea where the fine folks from Shift Beers actually are, John, you're going to fill in. So you are now Shift Beers. So you get to say what was on your, and I'm using your in air quotes for those people not on the live stream, what happened on episode 116, Summer Bangers Volume 2. Yeah. This is everything that I thought it was going to be, and oh my God, so many beers, except for John Lee, who just decided to bring an empty glass over to the mic. It's okay. We won't.
So, John, tell us about Bush Light Peach.
Bush peach. Yeah.
I like.
Bunch of Bush.
I've
peach.
had it.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of like the apple.
I don't believe you.
Oh.
You don't believe me?
Oh. All right.
I didn't buy it. Someone gave it to me.
Oh, yeah?
I had.
I didn't know you had that many enemies.
A single can. I didn't want to buy it 30 racks.
So one of the
absolutely
things that you, as Shift Beers now, because again, you're here, they're not. You made the very strong statement that Bush Peach is better than Natter Days. Do you still stand by that statement? This is now going to be the truth of Shift Beers summer beers. So speak your truth. This is taking a lot longer than I thought it would.
Natter Days is crushable. Mm-hmm. Peach was a little too sweet.
Okay, so there we go. Natter Days is still better.
All right.
There's something.
Come on over.
Oh, we got. Hey, we have a mic over here.
I like lemonade in my beer.
Would it be better if it was made with watermelon? Natter Days or Bush? Both. Mm. Ooh, just.
Found it out. We broke Julia.
Marco, what button are you trying to push?
No, I don't know. The orange mic isn't on.
No, because no one's sitting in front of it. No one's talking on it, so I don't want it to
Caroline
pick up.
tried to speak.
As she's eating.
There was a visual component to that bit,
There-
which
yeah.
is why Julia almost died.
Yeah. There's always a visual component with watermelon, and fruit is just ruined for me forever. Okay, so this episode of Shift Beers, Josh, Chris, Brian, and Chris's neighbor showed up. Exactly. Perfect. It's like Chris is here in the room with us. They pretty much said, we promise absolutely nothing as far as consistency with the show.
Right.
Which, they haven't had an episode in a few weeks. It's fine. Everyone's busy. But you know what? We're just going to stop talking about them. This will be the last one. Until they have 2 episodes in a row.
That's it.
I'm doing that.
Not talking.
Should you call your own drunk line? That was
Yes.
another thing in this episode.
Yes.
Is it yes? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So the gnome has a drunk line. Has he ever called his own drunk line? Should you call your own drunk line? That's why he has a mic. Not wrong.
Right.
Gives your future
Not wrong.
self more content.
Maybe.
Your future self.
Your future self, yeah. This is me calling from the past. Don't do it. You know what? If a version of you from the future doesn't show up to stop you from doing something, how bad can it actually be?
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
I did get a drunk line call from Joe, probably the same night that Shift Beers did.
Oh, all right.
But I think, listening to mine, it probably came later than Shift Beers. I think.
So the elevation level, like it was already.
Yeah, not elevation. Like it was just everything kind of blurred together.
It was a singular
Yeah, it was bike.
Does he bike like all over the world?
Oh my God, that's fantastic. Let's see. The only thing that they've been drinking, because they always do a segment on what they've been drinking over the last 3 months that they haven't been recording.
Right.
Bush peach. That's it.
Bush peach.
Nothing else. That is the only thing. So it was actually their shortest drinking segment ever.
And then Brian, Button Brian, he's like, I haven't been drinking
Except
just bourbon. He's like, I just had a lot of bourbon.
Yep.
But I've really been not drinking. I'm like,
But it was. I mean, it was their shortest drinking ever. Like normally their episodes are 50 minutes to an hour, and 37 minutes of those are what they've been drinking. This one was, I had a bunch of Bush Peach. Yep, me too. Yep, me too. And I also had some bourbon.
yeah.
Done. I
And then they
didn't know what to do with
They
that.
got their neighbor off his lawnmower to come over and get on the podcast.
Well, but before that, they were baby birding their summer beers.
That's true.
Because they didn't have cups. So they're like, well, how are we supposed to drink these?
It's kind of like the Gnome and John Lee were down there at the end of the table.
Yeah. They had no other way to drink. Because they said drinking out of the cans would be uncivilized, so they decided to baby bird all the beers. Apparently, that's more civil. It's shift beers. I understand.
Do you expect anything less, though?
Exactly.
That's exactly right.
Drinking like Neanderthals. I don't know what to.
I had so much beers this weekend.
Yeah. How many?
Go ahead.
Beers? What were you
Go ahead.
drinking?
Well,
yeah.
I spent an hour in the car, 30 miles. I went to Yellow Springs, new brewery
Love
town
it.
that I've never been to. We went to Trail Town. They had some good. They had a blueberry sour.
Nice.
And then I kept it with the sours. I went to Yellow Springs Brewing Company and had their red flounder.
Nice.
Am I saying that correct?
If they're
Red
talking about the
flounder ale?
fish,
Yeah.
then yes.
Yeah, sweetest fish.
Yes, we'll go with
A
that.
Flanders
was-
red.
Flavors red. Thank you.
Did you hike while you were up there?
That also has a sour
Ooh.
component.
I walked to the brewery. That's close I'm gonna get.
You got to go to
Right.
Glen Helen Nature Preserve and hike up there.
It's like me. It's like, no, I got to be
amazing.
chased to run.
No.
But it was delicious. And we bought a New England IPA and I crushed those that night.
Nice. Fantastic. Something that Shift Beers talked about not crushing was the idea about having non-alcoholic twisted teas, which would just be...
Wait a minute. What is that? What is
Tea.
that?
Is
What
that
is
just-
a non-alcoholic twisted tea? Isn't it
It's
just a tea?
That's just tea.
Yes. They had a
You're
huge...
drinking regular tea.
They had such a long debate about this,
Untwisted tea is just
man,
tea.
how cool would this be to have some of this up with all the different flavors and have it non-alcoholic? And I'm like, that's
Just-
fucking tea.
It's just
What are you
tea.
guys doing?
Crumpets
They've-
and tea. Come on.
They've all been off their game for way too long. Way too long.
Are they trying to drink enough to get drunk from it? And it's like a half a point?
Knowing them?
It got weird because they were talking about teabagging. They're like, no, here, let me teabag
Like,
that.
no. Oh, my God. There were a couple of sporadic appearances from Beth. She's kind of popped up and then disappeared and popped in and disappeared.
That was refreshing.
It was. She is the absolute best part of that podcast, hands down. And
It's like putting ice after you teabagged the
yeah,
untwisted tea.
it's about as refreshing as not putting your beer over ice,
It's refreshing
Yeah.
as a non-alcoholic tea.
i.e., tea.
Tea. And then,
let's see, what-
and then when you're getting low, you have low tea.
Oh my God. There are so many levels to the amount of tea that were going on in this conversation. That
A lot of tea in this
a
room.
lot of tea in this. Here's, as long as there aren't any watermelons, I'm fine. I am fine. I think this is the first episode that they broke a glass on the show.
I think so too.
Yeah. There was...
Spoiler alert.
Correct.
Should they be
Spoiler
drinking out
alert.
of plastic?
Why? Because they're in the garage.
I mean,
It's shift beers.
It's-
Who drinks out of glass?
Well, what's really interesting
well, they
is that
started with no
because-
glasses, and then all of a sudden, like, you heard that unmistakable sound of just a glass shattering, and we're like,
What's amazing is that one of Chris's kids is a ninja.
Yes.
And so not only did they break glass, but she walked across the glass
Barefoot.
because of her ninja training.
yes. And we also learned when she made her brief appearance, the best ninjas use profanity correctly
That's right.
when they're on
You
the
have
Chef
to,
Beers podcast.
if you're going to diagram a sentence with profanity in it, it has to be correct, and they are learning how to correctly use profanity.
Yes, and she did great.
Great job.
She did absolutely
Very
fantastic.
good. Very good.
There was a big debate about dragons or goblins, which we are not going to go into,
No.
but
Tea bags.
I'm just not.
Okay.
I'm just not. And David is Chris's neighbor that was on his lawnmower, and they're like, how do we get this guy to shut up and get off his lawnmower? And they're like, well, let's offer him a beer.
Yeah.
And it worked.
It worked.
And it worked.
How many times have you done that and it not work?
You know how many times I stop mowing the grass to grab a
To
beer?
do that? Right. Well, actually, for me, none, because I don't do my own yard.
Want another yard?
No.
Oh, hey.
like,
hey. And David is a lawn line guy, which we know a lot of people
That's
that
true.
appreciate the lawn.
Yeah, the lines.
Yes. This was a ridiculously fun, crazy episode like
It was
they all
fun.
are.
It was. It was.
Before we get to the burp count,
Yes.
we haven't had that in a very long time. So it is finally back. Nope, nothing. Okay. This just proves that no one else is. There we go.
We're back.
Were there any other notes that either of you had on this episode of Shift Beers?
No.
I put down I like dragons more.
Oh my god.
I bet you do.
Oh my god.
I know
Oh
you
my
do.
god. No.
We
no,
heard that about you.
No. Anyway, the burp count for episode 116 of Shift Beers, Summer Bangers Volume 2. And I have 2 counts for this one.
Okay.
Because
did you count the farts?
Yes, as a separate total. Just burps. Everything every sound counts as a singular instance. They had a total of 66 burps,
Okay.
which is 132 ounces,
That's
which
good.
is 8 1/4 pints.
That's good.
That's very good. Now, if a fart equals 5 burps, which is the math that they were claiming happened,
Right.
which
That's not our math, their math.
it was audible, which
Yeah.
is terrifying
Not our
that
words,
those
their
mics
words.
pick that up. Either that or like the echoes in that garage are
garage, yeah.
ridiculous. If you count that as 5, your total is 71, which is 142 ounces, which is 8.875 pints.
Okay. So just
They
under
did great,
9
yeah.
pints.
Just
Good
under
job.
9 pints either way.
And to be
They did-
down a team member.
Yeah. Well, but they brought in David at the end, so
That's true. They did bring in David.
kind of slightly balanced, but
Yeah, a little
they did
bit.
good. They did good.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's good. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's good.
Wonder where they're at.
Not here.
They don't work here.
Welcome.
No, they don't. Well, no one in this room does, and they're still here. All right, quick break because I'm seeing empty glasses, and that's unacceptable. And then we are going to talk about the Brew Skies Happy Hour, and then the Weekly Pint.
Oh shit! We still have 2 more.
We still have.
We will be back.
We still have 2 more. We will be back. Oh my God, this place is insane. We once again, I think we have all made it back.
Back.
What did we do? What have we started? This is so fantastic. This is going to be, and I'm going to do. Does everyone have beer in their glasses? Yes. Okay. Good.
Mostly.
Because
Some of us.
because we don't have a Cincy Brewcast, we're gonna talk about the Weekly Point. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers. Cheers. Oh my God. This is, oh God, it's all going to hell. This is what's, oh my God. You good, Marco? We got it all cleaned up?
I'm good.
It's fine. Nothing, if anyone from the place we're recording at listened, nothing happened. It's fine.
No, it's fine.
Everything,
We're just
everything.
back.
Hey, at least he's not trying to stick things into the outlets again. Oh my God. That was the most. Oh, good God. It's a wonder that any of us are still alive. Episode 174, it's cocktail time. And this time, the gnome actually made a cocktail.
Yep.
Because it was a myth. It was a legend. The last he made 2 cocktails. I'm getting the like European like finger thing. Like I did 2. God, talk about your own damn show then, man. Not wrong at all. This was a really cool dual location episode.
Yeah.
There were multiple setups, multiple cameras, multiple everything, multiple cocktail. Everything was duplicated. So if you didn't enjoy the gnome in his singularity, I don't know, this episode may have been a little too much for
Too
you.
much.
Two black holes together?
Yes.
Okay.
You just
Multiplicity.
let's see. He made a Negroni and
Said
an
black
Americano.
holes.
Oh my God. All they heard was holes, and it just went.
Or is it like 2 pieces?
It doesn't even.
It's definitely 2 pieces of bread.
Oh my gosh. Is pizza with toppings adjunct?
Toppings are an adjunct.
Toppings are. There were so many conversations on the side that we do not have time for on this show.
Tune in
We
for
should
next week.
definitely read. Yes.
I don't think they have
We need to
Campari
read
here,
this
by the
just-
way. I didn't ask, but I don't think they do.
Well, on this.
The Cincinnati Distilling Campari equivalent.
Find out.
Right. This episode,
Yeah.
Gnome made a Negroni and
Astra
an
Campari.
Americano. Ooh,
No.
no,
Campari
not
Breeze.
doing it.
Yeah.
Not doing it. He tried to give a history of the different cocktails and of Campari.
Yeah.
Absolutely everything he said was completely wrong. I
Yep.
didn't fact check any of it, but I know that it was completely wrong.
Terribly wrong.
So don't listen to this episode if you're looking for details on where the Negroni came from, where Campari came from, how all this came about.
But do
This
listen
was-
because he gives our podcast a shout out several times.
Multiple, yes, which was freaking fantastic.
You guys are all over the place this week.
Yeah. It's kind of I don't know what to do with it, but it's been pretty fun. As I die. Let's see, the Negroni, that's Campari.
Julie,
gin,
are you
and
okay?
No, I'm dying. I am pretty
heard a
much
cough, didn't you?
I am pretty much deceased. But thank you for checking on me. I do
You know.
appreciate that. And the Americano, which is Campari, sweet vermouth, and soda or sparkling water. I have a complaint about the use of a tool to peel the clementine for these cocktails. Clementines are designed for like children to be able to just
Yeah, but
peel
you didn't want
on
the
their
pith,
own.
though.
But didn't he get that when he peeled it off?
Yeah, because-
right.
because it's
they're
designed to peel
just
away.
Peel
Yeah.
away, right? And he was like, "Oh, these are terrible looking peels," and I'm like, "Well,
Yeah, it's 'cause-
you're supposed to just pull,
You could have just ripped it apart.
right." And it would have
been-
looked better. It
Yeah.
would have been a much better cocktail. But I give him props for trying. He put a lot of effort into this, which he didn't in the episode that
Yes,
does
we got
not.
the ringleader of the kids over here.
Ooh,
Look at this.
Is that like the Pied Piper?
Yeah.
Just walking them away. All right.
All right.
They talk. Who's they? I guess they, because all of us were chiming in with the chat. So it was all of our episode. Some different cocktails you can make with all of the different ingredients for the Negroni and the Americano, because he had mentioned that I had said I had all the ingredients, and then I went, I don't know when I'm going to be using all of these different things and how frequently. So do I want this bottle of gin to just be sitting on my counter for ever?
Yes, you do.
But apparently I do.
Yes.
Apparently I do.
Right.
So I guess now I need to go booze shopping. Sorry, Josh.
You need approximately a dozen different bottles of gin on your counter.
Wow.
Oh my God, a dozen?
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Can you give me a list of which ones I need to pick
I'll,
up? All right.
I'll give you that.
Perfect. There was a teaser
It'll
on
be in
it.
the show notes.
It will be in the show notes. We're going to put all of that in the show notes. He gave a teaser on an upcoming episode called Up in Flames, which
Yeah.
that could go so
Fuego.
many different ways. I wish we could get some insight on this, but it appears he's gone the way of shift beers and just doesn't exist in here in this space
Everybody's
anymore.
trying out the weird
The
chairs.
weird chair. And they can't get out of it. It's bizarre. And they're trying to do the pub game too.
Yep.
They're-
That's all the clanking in the back.
Yep. Oh my God. Butterfly pea. That
Yeah.
was a pretty
Butterfly pea flour.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a very
And it
I don't even
auto-corrected
know
to it auto-corrected to like a flour.
and it's like it's
As
it, but it isn't it a flour that's just powdered down?
Yeah, it's a
So
colorant.
it's
yeah.
is it an actual thing or is it just
No,
a
it's a real thing.
synthetic?
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Okay,
It's a real
okay,
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
All
the
right.
pH in the liquid that
makes it-
the purple color.
Gotcha. So where do you buy butterfly pea, and how do you know that butterflies are
Amazons.
peeing? Amazons. Okay. I didn't know you could buy.
Yeah.
You follow a
Like
butterfly
a river.
around with a tiny glass and just like hope for the best.
Joe would never catch one with those tiny hands.
So do you just catch in your hands and you just like? You got to put in a glass. Okay. All right. So why not just follow the butterfly around like holding a glass under it? Why cup your hands? You cup. You got to cup.
Find out
You
where
gotta
it
hold.
lives, put a Ring door camera there, and then just wait for it to come back.
That's an option too.
Mike, you talk about Thomas, because I had to sit through that multiple times.
Joey's getting fired up down there. We are not talking about Thomas the Tank Engine on our show. That is purely for the parenting podcast.
That's right.
We are not talking about Thomas.
Can we talk about Bluey?
No, we're not. No. If you don't know what we're referring to when we talk about Thomas, listen to the Craft Parenting Podcast, episode 100. It was a literal train wreck.
Oh, God.
It was awesome. It was awesome.
Remember that Rule 34 of the internet exists?
Oh.
Yes. So many rules. I didn't have a ton of notes on this episode because it was just all a conversation, and I don't want to rehash the entire conversation. But listen and rewatch this episode. But I will say that
Or watch for the first time.
or for the first time, yeah. But I will say it ended with some words of wisdom from the gnome, and also a little bit of an insight as to who he is as a person. Judge not, lest you be judged by the gnome.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. You do you not
That was
remember?
deep.
Yeah. I mean, this was almost a direct quote. Almost a direct quote. And it's fine.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Elijah, since you were on the Weekly Pint, and you've participated a couple times.
yeah.
Any other
always fun.
thoughts on either this episode or any of the past episodes?
I mean, it's always a good time. This one being gin-centric was near and dear to my heart.
So you're also
Do you make
a
gin
guy,
as
you're a-
well?
I don't distill
Okay.
yet.
I wouldn't say it on here when you get
Well,
started.
Legally, I will never distill.
There we go. There we go.
I have added botanicals to vodka, so I have.
Like butterfly pea.
Yeah, I got in charge. His name's Jim.
But yeah, I mean, the Weekly Pint's always a great time.
How do you do
Everybody,
that?
make
You
sure that you-
teabag vodka. Is that what happens?
Yeah, basically you add your botanicals to like a mason jar full of vodka, and you let it sit for a few days until it infuses, and then you strain those out, and you have gin.
Nice.
All right.
So,
So I'm going to start. No, I am not going to start making.
gin,
You
gin
can.
is just
I'm not going to,
botanically
sir.
infused vodka. That is
There you
all
go.
gin
All
is.
right.
That's it.
And there is no law against being at your house and putting a bunch of flowers into.
That is correct.
There we go.
I-
There we go. We have found the
Butterfly
loophole,
pea flower.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can make your own liqueurs all day long because you are not actually creating anything. You are just infusing.
Infusing. Okay. So infusing is not illegal.
Correct.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. I'm totally not
Yeah.
going to use that for any nefarious purposes.
But if you're like making your own limoncello or orange liqueur, make sure you get organic lemons and oranges because they do not have wax, which regular lemons and oranges are wax coated to
Can you
keep
just
their
wash
color
that
and
off?
appearance.
Or?
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't
You'd
work that
have
way.
to,
Okay,
you'd have to
okay.
put them in like a hot water for a
Right.
certain period of time.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then dump them in an ice bath to
Yeah.
cool them
Okay.
back down, so you're not baking them.
But yeah, get some organic versions.
All right. So using the wax fruit is a bad idea.
Correct.
All right. Good to know. That kind of covers what I had for the Weekly Pint. Anyone else?
That was
anything
great,
else
John,
before
for the
we?
audio.
I know the
For the
mind.
audio audience, that
audio-
was fantastic.
Yeah, they
Hey, if the live stream was up, I'm telling you, this would be terrible. No, this would be absolutely ridiculous. Let's move right into the last podcast that we have to talk about because, Elijah, we are back.
Back.
Oh, my God. All right. Brew Sky's Happy Hour. This is technically episode 16, Yellow, Watery, and Flavorless. Episode 4 of episode 16. I don't know. The way that they are naming these things is crazy.
Episode 4 of season 1.5, I think.
1.5, right.
Yeah.
And the actual wording of the title of this article is no better than trying to figure out the number of this episode. Taste like Schlitz.
Yeah. What's also fun is you can go on YouTube and just stare at sort of color pictures
of their face. Yeah.
Like
It's not a
two-tone
video.
color pictures of their faces.
Well, it's what we do. I mean, if you listen to our episodes on YouTube, it's just our logo and
static
then that's
image.
it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But at least it's not our faces.
Yeah.
With them,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Brett and Mike's
Yeah,
face.
I would request for it not to be my
Do
face.
you want to stare at Brett and Michael for 45, 50 minutes and just they're dead?
Well,
dead
sign
faces?
me up.
dead eyes. It's like looking at a shark. You know, there's nothing there. The episode did start off with a very, very deep, concerning question. Besides being back, why does Mike have 2 nipples but only 1 liver?
That's right.
I mean, I started questioning
I
my
think we can all
own
ask that. Yeah,
autonomy. I'm
right.
like, well,
Yeah.
wait a second. I have 2 nipples and only 1 liver.
That's
what
crazy.
the fuck? What's going on with this?
That's weird.
What happened in the evolution to where this is still acceptable?
I have 2 kidneys and 1 liver.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad that Mike brings the D. Morgan
Yeah.
started us off with that.
Glad we all know we can just get another one whenever we need it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not from anybody in this room.
No, definitely not. Definitely
No,
not.
don't do that.
But after, jeez, no.
Sorry,
would be,
Bill.
You would be much worse off than you started. After talking about his nipples, they dove right into the Schlitz.
That's right.
So it always sounds wrong. There was no way around it. This
You're right.
episode, like every single note that I wrote, I'm like, everything that I'm writing just sounds absolutely wrong. Yeah, the one about nipples and Schlitz. I mean, I don't know how could this be wrong. So there aren't a lot of people that know the Schlitz story. Schlitz was supposed to be the king of beers. It actually temporarily overtook Budweiser.
It was.
Which
it happened.
Yeah. It was a very brief period of time that they said 1954 through 57, and when that brief period of time that they overtook it, Schlitz almost swallowed Budweiser. I was trying to write these notes in a way that made it as uncomfortable as possible to talk about. And the silence
it's a
that
sex
I got.
joke.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Highest level of comedy right there.
Yeah, Steve Martin was a prop comic. Let's see, what else was there in this episode? With inflation, Schlitz got creative with cutting costs.
I haven't had Schlitz this decade. I don't know. If I did, I was underage, and I could legally drink at 18. So it would have been
a long time ago. Yeah.
You have? Did you get it at Jungle Gyms? The Jungle Yim? We'll just pick some up and call us over.
Yeah. It was probably out of code when he bought it too, because
Right.
When was the last time?
That was a
let's
gnome
see.
asking us about Schlitz. Schlitz.
And if wow,
Ooh.
do that again.
Schlitz.
I think that needs to be a button. That's a
I
soundbite.
think that I should probably clip that and make that something that we should never.
Maybe it can be a craft parenting pod soundbite. Yeah.
That definitely sounds like more of their thing than ours.
That's like insane shit.
Let's see. The reason that Schlitz kind of started to go back downhill.
Where? Back.
There we go. They try to cut costs. They're like, if we cut costs here a little bit at a time, no one's going to notice. But as those things stacked up, people went, nope, no good. No good anymore. They
Well,
had
they
to
had
do,
one of those horrendous Chipotle-style recalls before
Yes.
Chipotle, like 30 years
Yes.
before Chipotle,
Yeah.
to where they had to shut
Schlitz
everybody
was slimy.
down. Yeah, they had slimy Schlitz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one wants
Nobody wants slimy Schlitz.
No, nobody wanted that.
No. But the two choices were you could either have a
It's hard to say.
you could either have a slimy Schlitz or a headless Schlitz. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know
Yeah.
the words. Which one's worse? To me,
Circumcised Schlitz.
yeah. They just cut the head right off. It
Right
just
off.
wasn't even a thing.
Jewish version.
They nipped the tip.
They nipped the tip. And somehow Brett managed to compare that to inserting a rod into a bunghole, and it just kind of went downhill from there.
They did go
this
down that
was-
road.
Yeah.
Yes. Which was surprising. Normally they keep the episodes pretty professional.
But it's interesting
But
to think
Schlitz-
about how decisions made in a moment for certain reasons, and then the cascade of decisions that came after that
Right.
essentially took
Right.
a brand that was number one and relegated it completely, and then to now be, I think, nowhere.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
not anywhere that counts, really.
Right. People hear the name and they're like, that's a joke, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
Right.
well, it kind of is.
Go get some Schlitz.
Yeah.
Like, no, they don't have any Schlitz.
No.
Grandpa beer.
Right,
Yeah.
right. It's
Yeah.
it's
If your grandpa had some, I'd have one.
what?
Schlitz. That's what I was talking about, Julia.
I feel that
Does he have a watermelon?
To put cut no.
Nope.
Nope. I feel like to put a geeky spin on this, Schlitz beer was kind of like the ET game of the beer world.
There is, according to Untapped, we have no Schlitz within 100 miles of our location.
Wow. So we're in a
We're
safe zone.
Schlitzless. Yeah.
So we could all post on Facebook that we are safe
We are
from.
Same from Schlitz.
we are in a Schlitz-free zone.
That's right.
Good to know. Who wants to have?
Safe from Ron DeSantis and Schlitz.
Oh my God.
And we're better off for it.
Who wants to give their reckless speculation
A reckless speculation.
about what local beer Mike feels has changed significantly, but that no one seems to have noticed or talked about?
I'm going to say I've noticed.
Okay.
All right.
Is that your reckless speculation? Do you want to throw out just a random?
I don't think it's reckless at all. I
Okay.
think he's absolutely right.
Okay. It's Astra Bomb Pop, isn't it?
You all right over there?
I know that they changed that formula.
Where? Changed what?
Astra Bomb Pop. Yep, I know they changed it.
Of
Kat
course
even
they did.
said it. Yeah.
Of course
so,
they did.
So that's my reckless speculation on what
course they
has
did.
changed. Because I know that they're big Astra fans. They love their seltzers.
Bill, was the last time you had a Schlitz, buddy?
Remember if I got Schlitz faced or
Love it. That is fantastic. These episodes are always absolutely amazing. But
gonna
just the name of the brand just...
Beer,
Oh, yeah.
Bruce guys?
Yeah.
I was talking about their Schlitz.
Ah, the Schlitz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just when you dive right into it, it's just awkward.
I'd like to give my reckless speculation that
Yes.
it's
Yes.
Please do.
it's Warped Wings Ermel's Cream Stout. That is
Ooh. That's a good
that has gone way off the rails.
That's a good one.
Oh,
That's
they
a
like
good
that one, Elijah.
Or, yeah. Or you know what? I think I was wrong. Maybe it's not Astra. Maybe it's not Astra, Bomb Pop Astra. I bet the one that's changed that no one's talking about is Esther's. Wow.
Yeah.
Esther
that
Little
one.
Secret.
Little secret.
Yeah.
I bet that
Oh,
one
yeah.
has changed and no one's talking about
That's
it.
right. Nobody ever talks about the
No.
changes to Esther's Little
no.
Secret.
And we
Because
know
it's
that
a
they're
secret.
changing it.
But it's a secret.
But you know that they're changing it.
But it's a secret.
But no one's talking about it.
That's
I
right.
know, but it's a secret.
The
That's the
first
secret.
rule. The first rule is you can't talk about
Can't
it.
talk about it. All right, that's fair. That's fair. Was there anything else anyone here had about Bruce guys before we wrap this shit up?
Elijah.
I mean, other than the fact that Brett and Michael always are fun to listen to,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
they
Yep.
bring they bring some gravitas to the beer world.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
And from a podcast that doesn't, I respect it.
Yeah, it's true. We may not do that, but we put out more content more consistently.
That's
so
right.
Therefore,
Yeah.
We're here, man.
That's right.
We're here.
we're here. You'll do damn well to remember that.
Yeah. What about next week? Are we going to be here or not here?
There is no telling. But before we talk about what next week may or may not bring,
That's true.
Thank you to everyone for putting up with us for 100 episodes. Hopefully we are here for another 100. If you liked what we have done on this episode, like, subscribe, share, follow, tell people about this show. That's probably
right.
the
We'll
first
come
and
back.
foremost thing. Follow us on social media at truthbeerpod. Email address if you want to send us anything, truthbeerpod@gmail.com. Go to our website, truthbeerpod.com, to kind of keep saying that same thing over and over and over again. And there are ways to monetarily support the show. Other than that, next week we will be back. We don't know where yet, because next week is the 4th of July, and we're still planning to record because, damn it, we're professionals.
That's right.
We do not take weeks off.
No.
We have no idea where we're going to be or why we're going to be there, but we will be there. So, Marco and everyone else here in the room, what are you guys doing next Tuesday?
Drinking heavily.
All right. Cheers,
I'll be
everybody.
blowing stuff up.
Drinking heavily.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.
Not over the board.
No!